I want to tell you a story. It's a story that kicks off with a moment of just absolute horror, but it ends with this really profound lesson about how we see the world. It's a wild ride from pure disgust to real wisdom, so let's just dive right in. You know, this story doesn't start in some quiet temple with calm philosophical ideas. No. It begins with a raw gut punch of an experience, a single moment of pure, unfiltered shock. So try to picture this. A man is waking up from one of those deep, heavy sleeps. You know the kind, where you're just totally out of it, not sure where you are. As he's slowly coming to, he finally prizes his eyes open. He turns his head, probably expecting to see the woman he'd been with. But in that split second, this cold dread just washes over him. That feeling where you know something is deeply, terribly wrong. Yeah, the face next to him isn't the one he remembered at all. It's a mask of decay. And with this sickening lurch in his stomach, he realizes the body has been lifeless for days. I mean, his reaction is just primal, right? It's pure instinct. A wave of sheer terror and this gut-wrenching revulsion just crashes over him. He's not just looking at something awful. He feels trapped by it, by the reality of decay itself. Okay, so that reaction, the fear, the disgust, it feels completely natural, doesn't it? I mean, of course he'd scream. Who wouldn't? But this is where the story pivots and forces us to ask a much, much deeper question about our own feelings. Really think about it. Is disgust an actual fact about an object? Or is it just a label we stick on it, a concept that our culture, our upbringing has taught us to use? And this is where our own ideas get a little shaky. Take a look at this. In some parts of Europe, there's a cheese that is deliberately filled with live maggots, and it's considered a delicacy. Or how about cow stomach soup in Asia, seen as this deeply nourishing meal? In Peru, you can get a blended frog juice sold as a health drink. The point is, the disgusting part isn't actually in the food. It's a label we've learned to slap on it. And that, right there, is the big problem for all of us. We don't just see reality as it is. We see it through this thick filter of labels we've learned. Good, bad, beautiful, ugly. And a lot of the time, those labels are what stop us from seeing what's actually there. So if our minds are running on this, let's call it biased software, how do we ever see things clearly? Well, Buddhist philosophy has a very specific practice designed to do exactly that. The practice is called Ru Shi Guan Cha, and it's a beautiful idea. It basically translates to observing things exactly as they are. The whole goal is to consciously peel away our automatic reactions, our judgments, our labels, and just look. It's not about deciding if you like it or hate it. It's just about seeing. And believe it or not, this is what the man in our story did. After that initial wave of panic, he remembered this teaching. First, he noticed his own overwhelming disgust and fear. Then, he took a step back in his mind and acknowledged, okay, that's just a conditioned feeling. And finally, he made himself look again, not at a horrifying corpse, but at the natural, impersonal process of a body breaking down. Now, this simple practice, this mental move he made in a moment of pure terror, it didn't just help him cope. It completely rewired him. He didn't just get over his fear, he became someone new entirely. By just consistently choosing to see reality without his own filters, without his own likes and dislikes, he started to undo the mental habits that cause us so much pain. And in that new clear space, he found this incredible, unshakable peace and wisdom. So what does a person like that even look like? If you met them, how would you even know they've achieved this kind of inner state? Well, according to the source material, the secret is in their eyes. You can literally see this inner peace. The eyes of a sage are said to have 3 qualities. They're qingte, which means they're clear, not clouded up by selfish desires. They're lingdung, they're lively and animated, full of vibrant energy. And finally, they're filled with I, a deep, unconditional love and compassion for everyone and everything. So the story wraps up with a visitor who comes to meet this sage. The visitor learns from him. He sees this wisdom up close. And then he faces a whole new problem. This visitor has his mind completely blown. He's seen with his own eyes that a totally different way of being is possible, but he can't just stay there forever. He has to go back home, back to his old life and the messy, chaotic world outside. And you can just feel the conflict inside him. On the one hand, his heart feels light, easy, just filled with all this new wisdom. But on the other hand, he's feeling the sadness of leaving this clarity behind and a deep anxiety about going back to what the Source calls a sea of suffering, which, let's be honest, is just ordinary life for most of us. And that's the final question the story leaves us with. It's one thing to have that aha moment, to see the world without all our filters for a minute, but it's another thing entirely to live that way. If you saw the world with that kind of clarity, could you really handle going back to business as usual?